Hi again. I am Christer Idhammar, the founder of IDCON Inc. in Raleigh, North Carolina. And in today's video, I would like to talk about implementation and teaching and learning and what you need to do and where you want to put your effort when you implement successful and sustainable improvements in maintenance. And as I said many times, 90% of good maintenance is about leadership, good processes, and people to execute those processes in a disciplined and efficient way. I spent a long time in China at the early 80s and late 70s, and I studied some of the Chinese philosopher Confucius' learnings and teachings. And one thing that really caught my eye was, I hear and I forget. I see and I remember. I do and I understand. And this really stuck in with me. And this has been the principle for all our teaching and implementation at IDCON Inc. You cannot only teach, you cannot only do training classes, you cannot only tell people what to do. You need to go out and do it with them. And that is when you coach successful implementation. The American Society for Training on Development had this published in a magazine some time ago. When people are trained, their learning and knowledge increases as they learn during a class, for example. But if what they learned is not applied to doing what they have learned, to apply to truly executing what they have done and practicing what they have learned, they lose about 87% of what they learned within 30 days. And I believe so. I truly believe so. If you don't get to the phase of actually doing and understanding and practicing, well, your learnings will just disappear. You wouldn't believe how many good initiatives I have seen out there in the industry. So many good plans has been developed, and I have developed many of them myself. And I always stressed you have to take action after that we have helped you to develop this improvement plan together with you. You are now committed, you want to do it. But many times it stops right there. The implementation doesn't really happen. And why is that? Well, many organizations spend something like 85% to develop the plan and develop slides and do fantastic PowerPoint presentations, and it seems like the slides is more important than what they're actually going to be used to teach people. But anyway, they are important, of course, that they have to be good and they have to convey the message you want to do. They might have some hallelujah meetings and communicate the plan and telling them what to do. And that might be only 10%, and 5% might be actually going out and showing what to do. But in my opinion, that is bound to fail. And I must say that many consultants fall in this trap. They do a lot of teaching, a lot of education, a lot of advising, but they never get to the doing and implementing what they have been talking about or what they have been advising. If you're going to really have a successful and sustainable improvement within reliability and maintenance management, remember one thing, it's mostly about people and behaviors. And in those cases, well, to develop the plan, well, that might take 5% of the total effort time. To communicate the plan might still take another 10% of the total initiative. But to coach and implement the plan, that is where you have to put the effort. And that's where you have to spend the time with the frontline organization. Because remember again what I said many times, the frontline organization is what will make it happen or not happen. And who are they? Well, they are planners, supervisors, operations maintenance coordinators, reliability engineers, and of course craftspeople and operators. So what is coaching? What do you actually do when you coach? When you have said, we're going to implement this plan, now I'm going to spend 3 months with you here and I'm going to actually coach you how to do these things. So you need to do one-on-one on-the-job training and coaching. That means coaching, in this case doing, with the frontline team. What it means is that you're facilitating planning and scheduling meetings between operations and maintenance. You have to teach people that we start that meeting at this time and you have to come prepared, and the meeting as a goal shall not take more than about 10 minutes. And then organizing meetings to minimize meeting time and attendees. That is what I just mentioned. You have to be disciplined in this case. The people have to come prepared with everything they have to bring to the meeting. Coach the frontline team in workflows for work management, including responsibilities for each role. Many times those roles are kind of blurred up. What does a planner do? What does a supervisor do? What does a reliability engineer do, and so forth? You have to have these roles really clear and their expectations. What are the prioritization rules for work orders? Well, we need to agree on a guideline for that, and we need to see to that that is followed. It shall be very difficult to break a schedule. Not impossible, but it has to be difficult to break a schedule. Screening of work notification for work description, functional location, equipment identification, estimates, etc., that should also be the role of the OMC. Review CMMS and help get added reports in place. And work order backlog management practices and what key performance indicators to actually use in different phases of your implementation. It could be how to set up daily scheduling of work orders. Break-in work and emergency work, what are we going to do about them? You're going to challenge them, and if it is truly work is an emergency work, well, they're going to do it. But if it isn't, it has to wait. Minor shutdown work management workflows. You have to put these in place, and I talk about the minor ones, like you might have a process where you have a shutdown once a month that lasts less than 10 hours. That's what I call a minor shutdown. But you also have, of course, larger shutdowns that last for thousands of people brought in, and they can be 3-4 week longs. That's another thing. That doesn't include the frontline supervisors, etc., necessary. Minor shutdown count-on process and procedure. How early do you start getting the work in? How early do you freeze the schedule for the shutdown? What are the critique meetings you're going to have after your shutdowns, and what actions are you going to take after you have had that critique meeting? Closing work orders, including feedback, questions, answers, etc., so you don't get the backlog that is filled with a lot of work that has been done, but it's never been really closed out. And what kind of feedback do you want in the work orders or in the work reports? Application of reliability basics, including preventive maintenance, essential care, and condition monitoring. Well, that is something you need to discuss and to set up, and you need to see to if operators are going to be involved and what are the tasks they are going to do and what do you leave to others. The relationship between maintenance, operations, stores, and others. What are those relationships? And there are many, many other things you need to do. But that's where you have to spend the time if you're going to be successful with your improvements of your reliability and maintenance performance. Thank you for listening. And you can learn more about this in our books we have here at IDCON Inc. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.